You guys are so sick that you fill the puppy in like 9 days. And then you bully this site, this beloved site of ours, Underdog. You just strong arm them into giving us another new contest. Well, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. The $7 price point, the 20 max. I love it, Nez. I love it.
I mean, the timing just continues to be impeccable for us, right? As soon as we get a
Right?
show, some form of new contest is always popping up and always getting filled. Now, we kind of nailed the puppy fill date, right? We said
Mhm.
over under like 9.5 days, over just nearly cashed. I am setting this over under,
Nez,
and now
Nez,
we're
we don't do over unders here. We do higher
well,
lowers, sir.
sorry, the higher lower, the higher
Yep.
lower, before or after, we'll call it
Before or after.
Monday at 10:59 a.m. Central, aka 1 minute before the Badge Bros go live on Monday. That is the before or after for this fill date. What do you think?
Wow. That's strong. I mean, it's 27,000, 24,000, 27,000, 20 max,
24K.
24K. It's 20 max. See, my issue is it with 20 max is like some of these sickos who jump in the puppies and just do 50 on the weekend won't be able to do that. So it might
Yeah.
lower the fill rate a little bit, but
There's
it's cool. I think I would take the lower on 7.5 days.
oh,
I think that's
it's gonna fill way before next Friday, dude. Way
wow.
before next
Yeah,
Friday.
I mean it's crazy.
People are probably already like maxed out in slows, they're probably already
That's a good
taking,
point.
taking their slows. This weekend will be nuts. We'll see. It's at 6%. It's almost at 7
Okay. Yeah.
hours.
Now I was just pulling that up to see. Okay, I'm gonna give it a refresh so we get a live
The
update here.
format though is like incredible. I love the 20 max. The 20 max
Mhm.
stuff is so sick.
Yeah,
And
we've talked about
yeah.
what the sweet spot would be for like 3 max, 10 max, 20 max, that sort of thing, like price point wise. 7 seems good. 7 seems nice. Puts a little more like oomph and emphasis on it than like a puppy, but doesn't break the bank. And you could still like most people could still comfortably get 20 of these in and feel not out of pocket. I think that's kind of like the dream there.
Definitely.
Um, mhm,
And Dave is in the chat asking us like if we think there will be more 5 or 3s. They last year did Pomeranians, and
mhm.
those were limited entries, $3, very small rake, really friendly advance rates. I will say, Dave, if you're more of a $3 price point guy, I do anticipate there being a $3 tournament at some point in this summer. And obviously more $5 as well. But this is and like Oaks is saying, this is literally like the
Yeah.
same thing as a seventh inning stretch, which is a fantastic structure, by the way, if you
Mhm.
haven't got hopped in those mid-season baseball streets yet.
Yeah, that's exactly what we said behind closed doors. Yeah, this is a clone of that, and we were raving about that on the MLB channel about how we loved that structure. Noteworthy that in that same vein is it's just $7 back for your min cash, which is entirely fine with me. You
Yes.
know, like that's
Yes.
just entirely fine if that's what allows for these structures to have a little bit higher on the top end there, so be it, man. Like that's the price of doing business.
Yeah, no
Um,
doubt.
yeah, I really respect that. There was the advance rate stuff. Advance rate 2 of 12 out of the regular season. 1 out of 10 in the following window. 1 out of 6, which is interesting little wrinkle there. And then 134 person final.
Yes.
Very
Very
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. There's something like I know the math is the same with 1 out
Mhm.
of 6 versus 2 out of 12, but
Mhm.
I don't know why like splitting it up into 6 feels better.
It's a
Do you
good point.
agree? Do you agree? I don't know why. It's like a
I,
feeling thing. Like it
Yeah, it
just
might just be our bro science brains, but like it does make you feel like, yeah, 1 out of 6. Yeah, I'm
just
gonna
to get
get
more of a
there. I'm
chance. I
gonna
don't
get there.
yeah. I don't know. And I
Yeah.
think and maybe so obviously like the math is the same as far as like your odds.
Mhm.
What I think it might do is create more greater flatter exposures in the finals. I think you can probably say, right? Because if
Right.
you have bigger pods, then you are more likely to like wind up with like two people in that pod that also have like the one tight end that you have to have
Right.
something. So
Mhm.
I think that kind of opens the door for different strategies. Like I've always been, kind of poo-pooing on single tight end on here because I think that that kind of like makes you the same as everybody else. But when it's 1 out of 6 gets to the finals, now I think we're talking single tight end being extremely viable because it's not all of the same type of players that you need, so to speak, in the final. So this is really cool.
I
This is
kind of like that.
fun.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't thought about it in that vein, like that deeply. Like I woke up, saw a new contest, and then we ran show.
West Coast
But
time, man.
yeah, man, yeah, especially when I stay up to watch 5 overtimes last night. Yeah, but the or I guess it was 4.
It
But
was fun.
I really like your thought process there. Maybe not to the extreme of single tight end, but I really like your thought process with the 1 out of 6 giving us some diversification in the finals. Because in a pot of 6, it's really conceivable that like, hey, nobody had George Kittle in that pod. George Kittle
Yeah,
was the guy you needed in every other pod, but one pod sneaks through and they get 2 live tight ends through, or they get, whatever, whomever that may be. We're using tight ends for the analogy's sake. But yeah, I don't know. This is great, man. But where it takes my mind is something I've been like kind of like piecing together, and we've been talking about behind closed doors a little bit, is how the data and everyone talks about best ball right now as almost everything they say about best ball is applying to BBM,
correct.
right? Best ball and BBM are two completely different animals, completely
Yes,
different beasts. And I think we have to quantify that. I mean, the way in which you play this poodle is completely different than the way in which you play BBM,
100%.
right? Like you could do all the advanced rate data in the world. You could do all the structured stuff, whatever. The fact of the matter is, BBM has 677,000 entries and it stretches over 5 months of draft window. I mean, so much is about diversification, uniqueness, stacking that week 17, and finding paths to closing line value because there's this elongated window, right? These contests, when they fill in a weekend, a week, or whatever, throw all that shit out the window,
Yeah.
right? Like we should not be concerning ourselves with those things. This is way more dialed into the nuances of like 1v1 player takes and stances in an isolated window than it is building an entire portfolio, right? And I don't know, it's just like stuff I've been like thinking about. We've talked a
Mhm.
little bit about behind closed doors, and I think all of this stuff is just kind of getting lumped together and people are like reading, "Hey, how to play best ball." Well, how to play best ball isn't exactly how to play best ball. It's how to play BBM,
Yeah.
or yeah, it's just something.
Mhm.
I don't know. What do you think about that sort of stuff?
So I think like the advanced rate information that you have out there is obviously applicable because it's still 2 out of 12. So
Mhm.
if you are somebody that thinks like, hey, I just want to get teams in and I want to know how to get into the playoffs because either you think that that's the best move or that's the way you can have the most fun by just giving yourself sweats, then definitely listen to the people that give you advanced rate information based on the data that they found and the conclusion that they've made. That's still applicable here. It's still 2 out of 12. But no, I
Mhm.
totally agree when it comes to like getting insanely cute with this stuff. Yeah, I think that is mostly just like a BBM thing. However, like all the money's at first here in the finals, so you still want to
Mhm.
correlate week 17 in my opinion. I think that's still a factor, but
Yep.
no, overall, yeah, I think that's like a really like sharp point that, this is not BBM. There are some differences, and
Mhm.
I don't really have like a strong answer other than like I might do like I really thought single tight end was like a skeleton key last year.
The
I
onesies,
tried it.
baby.
I tried it in the puppy. I did some crazy things in the puppy last year. Never didn't
Mhm.
make anything in the finals, but I think I'm gonna use these like I'm gonna stick to my player takes. I last year again I went like kind of contrarian with player takes in the puppy, didn't make a difference. So I think I'm
Mhm.
gonna stick to like the guys that I pick and do some like different constructions based on draft capital in tournaments like the Poodle and the puppies.
Yeah, I like that. I like using it as like a platform to experiment a little bit too.
Yeah.
What does 20 max do for you versus like 150? And like 20 max relative to 24k, whereas 150 relative to like 677 or whatever k. What does that do for you mindset wise in terms of like building? Like, do you build safer, more exploitatively? Do you just get your guys? What's your mindset?
For this contest, I'm not really changing a whole lot. Like I said, I'm going to be intentional about like getting a little wackier. Like if I,
Mm.
if depending on how my draft starts in the first 2 rounds, like I will do like some 3 running back here if I have the opportunity to. I will do a little 8 RB if given the opportunity
Don't tempt
to.
me with a good
Oh,
time.
come on now. Come on now. I like to ruffle some feathers. Uh and the thing that's nice about this is like with the Pomeranians, like I was like mass entering like when that first Pomeranian came out, when you were able to do slows, get your entries in
Yeah.
with the $3 price point and like 10k to first, like it felt like way like the juice was not worth the squeeze for me.
Mhm.
So I kind of like lost the interest there. This is nice because it like does keep my interest across all 20, because it's $7, so it's more of a cost commitment, and
Yeah.
it's 30k up top. So that being said, like I'm still going to like I will experiment a little bit, but like I said, I'm not like deviating from like who I think is a good pick or not in a vacuum.
Yeah, no, I like that. Lots of stuff going on in the chat right here. Sorry, playing catch up. We were kind of just talking through this. Yeah, that did feel like 8 overtimes last night. That was a wild game there. Yeah, GMs. Baby Stevie, there's a name we haven't seen in a
Yeah, I
minute
miss you,
here.
dude.
Yeah, good to see you. I'm gonna go ahead and click this. What do you say?
Let's get in.
All right. Holy
Oh
smokes,
my
it's already
gosh.
full.
Oh
What
my
a
goodness.
surprise.
Oh
What a
my.
surprise.
We might be in different lot. Okay, I thought we snap filled 2 in a row. Oh wow.
There we
All right,
go.
good. We got rid of all the badge brigades. So now we can just have like a nice peaceful draft without having any
Little
sharps in there.
value hound draft.
Have fun in your overflow, guys. Let us know how it goes. But John and I we're gonna do this 1v1 style here.
Holy. Yeah, so we really wanted to get in a draft versus one another, kind of like a la what Spags and Pete have been doing. Yeah, all the badges are in
They
the
are.
slows. There you go. Yeah. Yo, GM Joka, what's going on? Yeah, I fired up my Dalmatian last night. Actually, let's
Nice.
maybe I'll bring it up real quick here just cuz it's
I'm afraid to look at my Dalmatian or show my Dalmatian. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. Shocker, surprise. I
yeah,
did something weird with
surprise.
my draft that people find gross, but
Okay, here we go.
I'll let you know when you're on the clock.
Yeah, we're good here. Okay, I led with Austin Eckler on the cover because like has our FUD gone like a little too far with Eckler?
I think so.
I
I
mean,
think
I
so.
took
If he's a
so
Charger, yes.
right, if he's a Charger, like this is going to look so dumb in I mean, maybe not taking like Jonathan Taylor over him, but maybe taking like Nick Chubb over him will look kind of
You're
dumb.
on the clock. Sorry.
Oh my god, you
They
guys are
they're
so
putting
fast, man.
they're putting the pressure on you.
No doubt. Okay, what do we got? Jefferson. I'm taking CMC, man.
I
That's what
love
I'm
it.
doing.
I don't have a lot of
Taking
him so
CMC.
far. I
I
haven't
don't
done
think
it.
I have a single one in the BBM yet of CMC. I've only done 9 BBMs, I think. Saving some for the old cardio club. And
Oh yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
gotta get that rake back. Which if you guys haven't seen that, definitely check out. I think it's on the Underdog Twitter. If you're unfamiliar
Mhm.
with the cardio club, definitely get familiar with it, because it's a great way to improve your health and to earn some money back on your entries.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's just fun as hell, man. It's
Hmm.
fun as hell to like, just put in a little exercise, feel like you're part of community when doing so. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. I'm very intrigued to see what Pete ends up doing with streaming the cardio club
I know,
one.
right? Like
I think
this is, if he's watching, this is a free invite. If you need somebody to admin your streams, like I can
oh
be on the
yeah, that'd
back
be
end.
fun.
I can kind of help bring up comments for you. Just let me know. Let me
There
know,
you
but
go.
that's going to be a challenge. He's going to need like to brainstorm how to do that. But that'll be a lot of fun for him. I hope he gets like the recumbent bike in the office or something. I know he's brainstorming. He'll do something good.
I think the easiest way to do it, it might be not cost effective. The easiest way to do it is the treadmill desk. I had a treadmill
Yeah.
desk when I was grinding a lot, and it was dope, man. You elevate that thing up, and you walk on it. I actually broke it when I was moving
Oh
one time.
no.
It wasn't really my fault, and I got compensated for it, so
Okay.
it wasn't all tragic. But yeah,
That's a shame.
no, but like I think that would be the easiest way because you walk, you could get a little light jog, he could make a bit out of it, he could
Oh
run like
man,
a
if
little
he's like,
sprint between, he takes a running back, he runs a little sprint until he has to
oh
pick a wide receiver,
wow,
like some bullshit like that. It'd be pretty fun.
that would be funny.
Oh, there you go, Eric. What's up, man? Eric's in our draft here.
Sire.
Yeah,
I believe that's how you say it. Yeah, I'm gonna call it Sire.
yeah, Sire 52. That sounds right.
I got inspired by our draft
By Sire
2 days ago. Inspired by Sire. Inspired by ETR sub. He went.
Oh,
and
yeah.
when he took AJ Brown real early, I'm gonna do something similar ish. Take
Okay.
AJ Brown 7, and if you don't have anything to say about it, see if I can get maybe little Jalen Hurts to wrap around to me. It'll pick 31. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm trying to experiment there a little bit. And we all know AJ Brown's spike weeks are just like enormous, right? So it kind of makes sense to mix up a little bit in the first round and change up your textures.
Well, man, we talk about it so much with the daily contest where it's like, especially with basketball, where like the same patterns replicate themselves over and over and over again, that the only way to diversify in those hoop streets when you're winning a 2-game slate with, 8,000 of your best friends is to flip the board. Like if you're gonna tell me that like Jason Tatum can't outscore Jimmy buckets tonight or vice versa, like you're out of your mind. Like either that can go either which way. Would I rather have Jimmy buckets tonight? Yes. Am I going to project him higher? Yes. Can he easily be outscored by Tatum and he's the guy you need, and taking Tatum on the front end of a draft board with that lined up exposure would be better? Absolutely, right? So like last night, for instance, everyone and their dog wanted to get that AD plus Jamal or AD plus Jimmy buckets or whatever, and you needed LeBron plus Jamal Murray. Right?
Yeah,
like
you had to, or else it's over. Which
wasn't readily available unless you flipped ADPs of LeBron and somebody, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, to your point there, which I really like, is that the ETR sub guy completely flipped the board, and I'm doing it, man. I'm
just taking my guy. Oh no! Let's go.
I'm robusting.
I love Tony Pollard in the second round, man. I say like every time we bring him up, but like, who would be surprised if he smashes and is the RB1 on the season?
Nobody.
And in particular, like any guys in these second rounds can be like the highest scoring player in a given week too. And I think when we doing the daily stuff as often as we do, I think really helps kind of put that into perspective. Because once week 1 comes, like you're like, well, we were taking this guy like in the first round, and now he's going here, and it's like, when you kind of look at it from a micro lens, it really kind of shifts the way that we look at these players. And so far, so good for the old thesis here.
You're doing all right with this one here. Your biggest dodge.
I jinxed it.
You jinxed it.
I shouldn't have said shit. Your
biggest dodge was dodging Zandy here, who took Devonta, because the Devonta plus Hurts is going to be like, from a combinatorial standpoint, it's going to be very, very high.
Yeah.
I might do something crazy here, man.
Get crazy. Let's see how crazy you can get.
I might do 3 running back and shut it down.
Oh yeah, come on.
I might do 3 running back and shut it down here, guys.
Don't make me smile.
Not financial advice. Yeah, drafting like it's 1993. Yeah, fucking right I am, Blake. Damn right. That's good.
I've been advocating for 3RB in the Discord. And the reason I've been doing that in the Discord is because Chad, aka Lee, who is doing some awesome work for us, as like most people know. If you don't know, we are compiling draft boards like as a community, and Chad is spitting out combinatorial ownerships and trends that we're seeing within those draft boards. And one thing that we're seeing like over and over is that nobody is doing 3 running back, and for good reason. It's an extremely thin strategy. But when you look at
Mhm.
what people are doing more than taking 3 RBs in a given build, it's kind of shocking. So
Okay.
I'm gonna find one of the most recent updates Chad posted, and what he's doing is he has a table, and it's showing like in each row is showing
Yep.
like all the positions. And
I got it open here.
okay, cool.
This one?
No, he just posts it in images. So,
Oh, okay, my bad.
yeah. So I can here I can share it real quick before I go back on the clock.
Yeah, sure. I
So
got you.
here's what he's doing for us, and this is based
Oh,
on like
nice.
our anecdotal data. And as you can
I
see,
did see this now that you say that.
only 11 teams have 3 running backs, but like but then you see like single quarterback has been done 11 times, single tight end has been done 25 times, 11 wideouts. I'm assuming that is related to that 3 that 3 running back team. Only 11 teams doing 10 wide receivers, which is hilarious because in BBM2, thanks to Herzig, everyone was like it was like 12% of the field was doing 2 4 10 2, and
Mhm.
then eventually it became the trend dropped significantly
Yeah.
for BBM3 when it didn't win with Liam. So just like interesting stuff. And for me, like I think when done right, like how you're doing it, I've advanced a lot of 3 running back teams, even if not on purpose, sometimes on accident when guys get hurt and it turns out you only have 3 healthy running backs and
Yep.
they end up advancing anyways. Like
Right.
I think it's really important to look back at your old teams and see what actually worked by accident and then applying it
Mhm.
on purpose. I don't know. I really do think that 3 running back should
I
be
think
part of people's rotations. Not a heavy part, but a small part.
uh-huh. I think it plays better in the BBM than it plays in this contest. Just because we are striving for such an extreme outlier and we are pushing for optimal. Like we talk a lot about how in baseball, why 5-man stacks matter so much is because you don't need to be perfect to win, right? You don't
Right.
need optimal to win because there are so many players, there's so many runs being scored. It's so impossible to be optimal, right? In NFL, on like a given weekend, you gotta basically be optimal to win like a Millie Maker or to win like our 50K event, something like that, right? In this style contest, as much as we want to strive for optimal, it's not necessary. We can be optimal adjacent and win when it's only 27,000 people and 134 in the final. To win a 134 person contest in the final, you don't have to be perfect,
Hmm.
right? So it is a bit thinner from a structure standpoint in a contest like this, but in BBM, like man, I'm going to experiment with like ones at the onesies positions and like
Yeah.
weird shit like that.
Definitely.
Um We've talked a little bit about how we like Drake London and we like Drake London slightly more than the field. In my mind, I was contemplating a little Justin Fields plus DJ Moore. Market is really souring on DJ Moore right
Yes.
now. I don't know,
I think it's
justifiably so. I don't know. I don't
is
know.
it so
I
like
don't know.
so here's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
is it though? Is it
Is
justifiable when it
it?
like we act like DJ Moore is going from like Patrick Mahomes to Justin Fields, right? He's
Right.
going
Right.
from bad quarterback every single season to
Hmm.
another bad quarterback, but probably one of the better offenses that he's played with.
Yeah.
I mean, like on paper, on paper.
Yeah.
Like they have a decent running game, like they obviously with Justin Fields. So like, and he's made it work with bad QBs. They might be run heavy. Maybe they won't run a ton of plays, but and yeah, you can make cases for other running backs, but like or other wide receivers, sorry, but
Hmm.
let's be real. DJ Moore has always played with kind of subpar quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Let's I don't know, man. I don't know. I
He 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 gives you very I mean, obviously completely different stature and play style, but he gives you like Mike Evans vibes where it's like he just put up 1K every single year. 1K, 1K, 1K yards every single year. Um,
Yeah,
I think
and
I just take him here. I
oh,
mean, I don't like to take him
naked.
as much naked, but I'm looking at some of the other guys. I mean, I could do a little Pittman and set a little something up with that. All right. You know what? Fine. I'm souring on him too, like everybody else. I'm doing the Pittman thing.
And like GA said, like because people are souring on him, I think that the price will go down and he will become more affordable. Like we're looking at him here, 10 picks past ADP. This is like the fifth time I've seen this happen, either on
Mm-hmm.
stream or like in draft photos. So yeah, you can probably wait and let a price fall a little bit. But it's funny, he never scored more than like 4 touchdowns in a season, and then he finally does last year, but he doesn't get the 1K yards. So
Mm-hmm.
he's an interesting profile, but to me like he does feel pretty safe.
I
Okay,
am.
nice.
Yeah,
Ooh,
sorry, you're on the clock here. There's a couple things that we've been talking about that I want to hit on too. Um, that Michael Pittman pick and that Drake London one, I might have fucked both to be honest.
you think?
Because, well, if I take Scary Terry, I get some week 17 correlation. And then if I take Drake, like if I take him first, I get a little week 17 correlation with CMC, right?
Okay.
Right? That's it. Yeah. Niners and Commanders. Yeah, that makes sense. And then the other one is Atlanta and Chicago. So after I take Drake London, maybe I should just take a DJ Moore because then I get a little week 17 correlation with those two as well there.
Ooh, that
So
actually would have been. Oh, that
I
would have been smart.
forfeited a bunch of correlation there. Yeah, here's Chips with the better comp than the Mike Evans. Our generation's Brandon Cooks, where it's just like he shows out every single year, 1,004. He's a good quality football player, but he's just, nobody wants to pin their hopes and dreams and their season on him,
Yeah. He's to bring a baseball term into it. He's kind of like he's a little oatmeal-esque,
Yeah, he is a little oatmeal.
He's oatmeal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like not likely to put up a giant spike week, but he's there for you and he's going to be contributing. Just a matter of how much or how little.
Here's a good point for T-Bear is like he did not suck at throwing the ball in college, Justin Fields.
I didn't think so either, man.
I don't think he sucked at throwing last year.
I mean, like
he just runs so damn much.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean, he was great for fantasy, right? And that kind of clouds our judgment from a real football perspective. But he also didn't have like a great team around him to throw the ball to. I was a huge defender. Of Justin Fields as a passer, as not and just as a player in general. But I do think that there are like real issues with him throwing the ball. After I make my 7th round pick, I want to show my weird Dalmatian after this. Okay, on the clock.
Oh yeah, we kind of didn't really. Yeah, we didn't really close the book on the Dalmatian thing, and then I wanted to talk about advance rate things. We're kind of like just bouncing all over.
I know.
It's drafting. It's fun. Entertainment value.
Oh, this is strange. Okay. I don't like doing this, but I am going to do it. Stacking Eagles sans Jalen Hurts.
Hurts. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like if Hurts does hit like on that, like chances are like you need Hurts, period.
Right.
But I still like the idea of it. I still think it's viable, at least from like a season long perspective.
I wanted to shoot the moon on Addison there.
Yeah. I do like Addison and Hawkinson just because like the back stack ability with Kirk is always there.
Man, we're setting ourselves up a nice little Atlanta double here.
There you go.
Let's go.
You're right back.
We're so back.
so back.
Never Kyle Pitts with the 69th pick. Are you kidding me? Perfect.
You gonna let me get that? Nice.
Yeah. I want to look at this really quick. We'll do a more in-depth thing than this another day. This is TJ Hernandez, 4 for 4. Good DFS player as well.
Great follow.
Yeah, really great follow there. But just kind of looking through the 3 previous BBMs, which roster constructions played above or over expectation in terms of playoff advancement. Very cool chart, very interesting. I would cautionary tale to just like be dismissive of some of these like structures at the bottom, because just because they didn't hit before doesn't mean they can't hit in the future. I always say caveat, this is only the 4th time we've ever had this slate, blah blah blah. I'm going to keep saying it all damn summer until you guys are sick of hearing it, but this is the 4th slate ever. This isn't the 4th year, this is the 4th slate ever, right? I'm back on the clock here.
While you think, a lot of that stuff too is like related to like, who is drafting those structures too. If you made smart people, if you forced like Herzig, you forced Liam, you forced Pat to draft those bottom 3 constructions, I bet they could make those work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you. There's so much, like murkiness in those advancements.
You got to consider the source of where those numbers are coming from.
Right. The source of bad structures is likely bad players, right?
Mhm.
So it's very interesting.
Yeah, bad structures in quotations.
In quotations, right.
Right.
But yes, I'll pull it back up again for a second. This chart is it's very cool. It's very insightful. But I also just want to say that like playing for advancement, we used to talk about this in poker all the time with like the multi-table tournaments, the MTTs, right? The playing for the bubble was like a thing. When big large scale tournaments started in poker, and it was like, oh man, these 10Ks, like, oh man, we got to put up $10,000. Well, I got to just play till the bubble, play really safe. And then once I'm there, open it up, right? Like that was kind of like the thesis. And I think we're seeing that a little bit with BBM with a bunch of this data right now, is people are going to be like, okay, I'm going to like play it kind of safe, play it, tread water, win my pod, try and, play within the confines of a tight aggressive strategy, a tight aggressive, what we used to call a tag player type, like play within the confines of that structure. And then once I get into the pod, hope I got the correlation to take me there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think what we're going to end up seeing is what we saw in poker, was where these loose aggressive players came over and they ran everybody over because they weren't scared to lose, because they're scared to lose. They weren't scared to lose in isolation because they had a big enough sample that they could win over time with it. So they were taking these extreme crazy swings. So instead of playing like 17 to 20% of hands, which everybody in that time agreed was like, hey, that's optimal, that's good, these guys come out playing like 45% of hands, running these people over. And like sometimes they would bust in the first level of the main event. This guy, one time, I busted in the main event, 10K bullet, 300 big blinds deep, 2 hours into the Wosop main event one time. Rick. I busted. Like, you should never ever even find yourself in a spot like that. But I'm playing to win the damn thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it, yeah. Anyways, it's just, I kind of think about structure in terms of like the money bubble in poker, where it was like back in the day, the mindset was like, get to the money, then we'll fight it out, get to the final table. That's when the big tier break in money happens. Then we'll fight it out. And I kind of see it trickling in to our game here in best ball a little bit. It's not a direct comparison, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
So to compare it to like best ball, would you like liken that to somebody that has like a really large bankroll, where when we'll use BBM as an example, where like 3.7K, they can absorb that hit and like not lose any sleep. They're able to take these wildly aggressive strategies that over a course of 100 slates samples maybe don't hit, but that one time that they do hit, it completely covers every entry they've done and then some, right? Is that kind of like the idea?
Yeah. Because the buy-ins available in a winning sample are so astronomically higher at the top than they are, in the middle. And that's why, like, Neil Orfield, like friend of the show, does the stochastic stuff. He posted this is why I really like transparency in DFS, and I hope we get it with guys playing the dailies and best ball communities and stuff like that. Is he posted a sample from his DFS stuff from
Oh yeah.
NBA only, and it's just like, man, like, winning, boom, straight down. But then he juxtaposes it to how many 1% lineups he was making, and his 1% lineups are like astronomical over the field. So he's playing well, he's running poorly, but the sample is like a year, 2 years. Like, it's like within those range of possibilities. Talking about BBM in like, it's very interesting because the counter argument to what I'm saying is some very notable players in terms of like content, and I think I'm going to go with a little Jacoby Myers week 17 correlation Raiders Colts here.
I like Jacoby. I like Jacoby a lot. I'm
Yeah.
interested to see what happens with Vegas, and they've got and hold on to that thought. They've been there's like odd rumblings. Are you familiar with like the joke where it's like a lot of people are asking questions about the shirt that are answered by the shirt? Anyways, a lot of so there's smoke that like Vegas isn't going to trade Devontae. Vegas isn't going to trade Devontae. Like, why is it? Why like why are you guys saying that? Like, who's even asking? Like you know,
right?
like,
Yeah.
was that even a thing? I guess it
Yeah.
is. So like, especially if he goes, that opens up for Jacoby. And I've just been like a really big Jacoby believer. I think he's like pretty underappreciated, and he's a potential riser. Him going behind Odell like comfortably in ADP, is weird. But so what are some like juxtaposed opinions that you were kind of like hinting at?
It's over when I
Yeah,
start Twitter 20 minutes.
you're done,
That's
dude.
good. It's funny because Tannehill's going to be the quarterback. This is a Tannehill stack. This is a Tannehill dream stack right here because I get a little Derrick Henry correlation with Tanny if he stays, and if he doesn't, then I get a little correlation with the Atlanta guys.
Open that third eye.
Third eye. I'm 3 levels ahead here. Yeah, shit. We were talking about I'm so bad at losing my train of thought. We were talking about the advanced data, and then talking about opening it up. Yeah, like, and then we were talking about
you were saying that there's some opinions out there or something, right? Or did you
Neil
forget
with
how you were? Anyways.
No, I was talking about Neil with like the 1% lineups and stuff. Shoot. Yeah, I lost it.
Let me show my Dalmatian real quick. I've been wanting to show
that.
this because it's a weird team. And okay, I've got this pulled up. Boom. All right.
Are you done?
No, I'm pretty close though. I'm halfway through. And so Jameer Gibbs, I saw Mark, friend of the show. He is in a Dalmatian, and Gibbs fell to like here and like pick 52. And I went, and I took him pretty early. And I don't know, I felt okay about that, but like and Pierce is also like a weird pick, but I'll be honest, I'm playing this a little safer to kind of like get some, because it's a higher stake tournament. This will be nice for my ROI, and I think it might be like money back. It might be like barely money back. But like I want to advance. That's when I'm putting $101 in, like I want to advance. So I don't want zeros at running back. And when I look back at my teams, right, I'm like, we kind of talked the 2 shows ago how my teams, like I don't have great history in these tournaments. And when I look back at my teams, I have a lot of zeros at running back. That is just that is the theme with a lot of my teams that either don't advance or advance and lose, is I have too many zeros at running back. And I think, and I hope I'm not taking the wrong lesson. But I don't want that anymore. I don't want any more zeros at running back, man.
That's fair.
So I'm trying to counteract that by leaning into the dead zone a little bit and trying to see like what I can find by doing that, because I really think I think that might be like what's been holding me back is like dude, there's a lot of zeros at running back. If you look at some of my results, man, it's all like I just been like leaning too far into like the dead zone's real, and then lo and behold, the winner has 2 running backs taken in the first 2 rounds.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like this with Casey here, man. Like that's so fun.
And I think, and I
Um
did talk about player selection, man. I mean,
yeah.
that's a real thing. Like, like my player selection was not good last year. That is
Mhm.
like, I acknowledge that. Like, you look at my exposures, they were not good. But if one of my highest exposed players was Hunter Renfro and he was on the winning lineup that won $2 million, who are you to tell me that I'm wrong?
Right.
that's a
I got
that's
you.
tongue in cheek. But
I got you. Um Darnell Mooney for the week 17 Atlanta correlation. Alec Pierce for the AR 15 double stack.
say less. I like a little Alec Pierce. He showed a
All right.
little bit of something.
Yeah, this is
But
my first Anthony Richardson. Is it AR 15 or 16? I'll get them mixed
he's
up
yeah,
because
with Austin
Austin Reeves.
Reeves. Who's
Yeah.
more electric? We need to take a poll. Who's more electric, Anthony Richardson or
Oh,
Austin
it's
Reeves?
fucking Austin Reeves, man. Anthony Richardson could come out here and he could be Robert Griffin III, and it's still Austin Reeves.
Yeah, it's still
um,
Austin Reeves. I think he's AR5, supposedly.
AR5. Okay.
That's what Google is suggesting to me.
All right. Yeah, I mean, this is my first Richardson team, and admittedly, not the best quarterback in the world to double stack, but we're
Probably
gonna do
not,
it.
but
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna figure that one out.
any quarterback that
Um,
gets Derrick Henry comps, I'm in.
yeah, that's
Like, are
wild.
you kidding me?
Yeah. Um, okay, I think I kind of remember where I was going with this. Yeah, one aspect of it was transparency. The other aspect of it was realizing equity. And the thing that my point was like, it's kind of weird that in the first three iterations of this tournament, known people, I guess maybe Liam wasn't as known before he won and kind of became known after the fact. But it's kind of interesting that kind of like known football guys and known best ball guys were the winners. And I think that's good for the growth of the game and it's good for the institution. I don't know if it's repeatable. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so because, I mean, if you do a thought exercise, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have the exact same team as Pat Crane last year,
I'm going to take
um,
Cole Kmet and shut it
okay,
down at tight end. I think this
or
might be a little bit of a punt. I could
yeah,
do Khalil
no,
Herbert
I'm into
too
it.
and do four running back.
I'm into
Yeah, let's
Komet.
do four running back.
Okay.
That's it. Four
Oh,
running back, and that's done.
you're killing the bit. Oh, you have double bye week, so
I got
okay,
I had the 2 7s. That's why
yeah.
I capitulated. Now
So
we're turning the green button's off, man. The green button
okay.
is like fully off now.
So if you take the winning lineup in any of its respective contests, whether it be Liam's lineup or Pat's lineup, and
Yeah.
you put them in different regular season pods, different round 2 pods, different round 3 pods, what are the odds that they actually even make it to the finals?
Yeah, I
Period.
mean,
You know,
impossible exercise, but like,
impossible exercise, but
fractions
like,
of percentages. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like
Yeah.
it happens all the time. Like if you have multiple teams advance, you'll have a team that scores 146 that doesn't advance, and then you have like a 125 team, and because you got lucky
Mhm.
in the pod, you got through. So I'm glad like Pete kind of he's talked about it on his stream because I'm like, is it something that we're not supposed to say? But like, this is BBM's a lottery.
Right. Yeah. I
it's
mean,
it's a lottery. You gotta be smart to get there, but like let's be real.
mhm. And that's because like that's kind of where my thought process was going, right? Where it's Nez taking Elijah Mitchell evergreen.
Yeah,
Um
when wouldn't I?
yeah, that's kind of what my it's not to discredit them in any regard. They're all
No.
quality players and make amazing content. It's just I just like it's so hard to realize your equity in life, in games, in zero sum games, let alone realize your equity within the first three iterations of this contest ever, right? So it's very interesting.
Yeah, like
Um
you made a good comment with Mark. Sorry, hold that thought. Where I think maybe either Mark said this or you like co-signed Mark
mhm.
on it. Hilo, by the way, if you're not sure who Mark is, sorry. Um, where you like EV and like the concept of the EV implies an infinite sample.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which,
Exactly.
yeah, we're 3 out of infinity here. So
Right. Exactly. Right. And then that implies that you're going to play forever. And that implies that the game's going to be offered forever. That implies that you're going to keep up with the trends in which the game shifts and moves. Right. Like it's a running joke for years in the poker economy where it's like you wake up in cold sweats after like a 2 week downswing and go, can I even win anymore? You know, because you look at a sample of like 10 years and it's like, okay, yeah, this has happened before, let me just stick with it. Ooh, it hasn't happened before like this, and it's just that's the evolution of these games. So I don't know, yeah, my thought process was somewhere in the realm of transparency, never realizing your equity. There's very, very talented players like Neil, who, even though he has been flirting with that 101 prize so many times in DFS, just hasn't realized it. But then he realized a Millie Maker years ago. So does that, make up for that? Yeah, it probably does. But
yeah, I think it
yeah,
still
it's
does.
yeah, right. So it's very interesting. Just that was kind of my like thought process overall, is that like equity is like fictitious, right? Like it's real, but it's like it's kind of like fictitious if the sample is never stretched. Um yeah, I don't know. It's
Mm,
interesting. And the way we think about these contests is like you have a way more practical lens than I, because I'm thinking about it like this galaxy brain fucking space cadet, and you're thinking about it like, hey man, this $101 contest, I want to advance this team, right? And I
yeah.
think it's why we have good discourse.
Hmm.
um hmm
I took your boy Komet. He might have fell to you, but I don't know why I'm so in on Cole Komet this year. I don't know.
To be honest, I think it would have been a mistake for me to double up on tight end like that. Chris G and I had a little bit of a conversation last night about, I'm going to take Nico Collins. Nico Collins with a little bit of a run back off of Tennessee for 2 weeks of the playoff schedule. Corain's been saying nice things about Nico Collins. Um, I mean, he was kind of like a back end darling of last year. If that offense is any better this year, which
It
it
almost has to be.
presumably has to be, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
made a lot of additions.
Yeah. I mean, him and Dalton Schultz have to be the primary pass catchers in that offense, right?
I think Mechie can contend.
Yeah. I mean, there's a
I
lot
know
of
he's coming back from cancer, but like these
and
guys
the
get a lot of
knee,
help. Oh, that's true too.
right? Like he came back from an awful knee injury in the SEC championship, I think it was. And then as he was rehabbing from that, because he didn't play the national championship, I'm pretty sure. He got hurt in the first half of the national championship and then didn't play the second half. It was something like that.
Yeah, I don't
It was
know if you're
one of the
confusing it
two.
with Jamison Williams or not. I can't remember those timelines, but I know Williams kind of had a similar fate that you outlined.
They were both the exact same. One played a half in the national championship game, and
Okay.
one didn't play at all.
Okay. Yeah, I
I
can't
can't
remember
remember
who,
which.
but
Yeah.
I think Mechie can contend too. I think he's very skilled.
Now the question is, am I going to push quarterback as far as I possibly can?
Who's your quarterback again?
We're not pushing quarterback. We're doing the Kyler thing.
John and Kyler, match PB and jelly, match made
Dude,
in heaven.
literally,
Oh, Richardson. Yeah, no, you need.
yeah. I think this is going to be a 3 quarterback team from the jump. And I was thinking, like, I need another upside dart right in the middle here.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do something
This team
crazy.
kind of sucks, to be honest.
Spoiler alert. Well, with AR, man, it's really thin. You
Yeah.
are making a gigantic bet with AR, and
Yeah.
I mean, even if he does pay off, like Karain has kind of said, like what when a QB pays off, like how much does he actually pay off? And I mean, because with Justin Fields paying off, Justin Fields was not in the 80s. Justin Fields paid off
Right.
because he was like a 13th round pick or something crazy, or like something or other.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back on the clock. We don't want zeros. Name of the game. No more zeros on AJ's teams.
The bye week guys are out.
So I'm gonna
because it's
do something in
rigged.
the same vein um, with the week 17. So I'm gonna play a little bit into your Tennessee Texans matchup there. Here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
This can go like either way. This is where I'm looking at this, right? One, I think we could be really undervaluing Derrick Henry because he gets the Texans 2 times in the
Mhm.
fantasy playoffs, which is
Yep.
we like if you have been living under a rock, he is their father. He is listed on the birth certificate as the
He is.
father of the Houston
Yeah.
Texans. Could be massive. On the flip side, the Titans could be doo doo, and
Mhm.
Henry maybe he's still there, maybe he isn't there, maybe he's shut down, even if he's playing. Are the Titans even good? And then the Texans maybe like the roles are reversed. And the
Mhm.
Texans are beating up on the Titans because the Titans are the worst team in the league and they want Caleb Williams. Who's to say? This is my reality. Reality can do
Yeah,
whatever
I
I want
got
on
you.
my team.
Yeah, you can spin the narrative as much as you want. I mean, that's what makes these teams so fun to draft
Yeah.
because you can just fucking spin zone these narratives, and I'm not
Oh
gonna tell
yeah.
you you're wrong.
Oh yeah. That's what's so fun. Is like who are you?
And
Who are
guess
you to
what? You
tell
never
me?
have to answer for it. We're never gonna come back and look at
People are gonna be
it.
like, so what happened to that Poodle team, Nez?
Yeah.
You'll know
Yeah.
when it's in the
Can we run
finals.
it back? Yeah. Can we run it back on that Poodle team?
I am gonna
Man.
make this a Hallmark team. You'll see when it's all said and done. But
Mhm.
just know I'm doing something wacky here.
Met might
Komet
be
might be
bad players.
yeah. Who's to say? I don't know. I just think the offense is gonna be a little better.
Yeah, this is definitely true. Like Vaporware, this is why we play, right? It's why we play the dailies. It's why we whatever. Not all tickets are created equal, but the thing I'll say about like understanding the EV of a team in BBM is as soon as you put a team in, that team's probably worth about $23. If someone who's watching
Probably
this
less because
stream,
like
someone
it's truly worth 23. Sorry, like with rake. And when you
right,
take
that's what I mean. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then I go up or down from there. So it's
Okay,
worth
gotcha.
23 right off the hop. And then based on whom drafted it, you scale accordingly. Yay, Rondell came back.
Nice.
Um yeah, so now we get a little stack job with my birds. All right. That's the first time anyone has ever cheered for I think I got a plan here. Man, are we buying back in on Trey Lance here? The Anthony Richardson, Kyler Murray, Trey Lance team.
Oh,
If
that would
that's not
actually be
if that's
amazing.
if that's not shooting the moon, I don't know what is.
Yeah, like what are you even playing for if you're not taking Trey Lance, man? Live a little.
Yo, guys, not financial advice. Honestly, running back is so much better than wide receiver like late.
Running back?
Yeah.
That's what I
Like
that's what
right
I
now.
well, at this juncture, I'm inclined to disagree.
I mean just in life. Like after the first 3 rounds. Like
in life. Uh, See, this is where I used to live. This is where I used to be all green. My boards used to be straight green back here,
uh-huh.
and it never worked. And one thing that I think that like we as a community in this bubble are underestimating is our ability to identify wide receiver talent and wide receiver
Okay.
situations because we are so focused on piss and yellow all the
Mm,
time. We know the good ones, but we also can identify some other ones. So like I think, leaning into like some RB heavy and then like just piling in wide receivers late because we're decent at identifying that stuff as a community. I kind of think like I think we should do that a little bit more. I don't know.
let's do
I didn't do it a lot last year. I did it on my
it.
main
Yeah.
event team with Pete, and outside of like Najee like getting his talents wiped away, like that team would have smashed. Like if
Yeah.
Najee didn't turn into a pumpkin and didn't disclose, like if he would have disclosed he had Liz Frank and we could have avoided that, like
Mhm.
that was a good main event team we had. Like we stacked the Chargers, we had Eckler, we had
Yeah.
Jacoby, we had Garrett Wilson. Like that team was we had a good team, man. And people clowned that team.
Yeah.
Like that was like,
I
and it was,
remember
and it
it.
was
The
funny. It was,
showcasing one, right?
yeah. I love,
Yeah.
I love having too much fun. When too much money's at stake. Uh,
Well, I mean, that's what the end of the game is all about, right? Like I used to joke all the time with the poker stuff. It was like, man, 5 years from now, I don't want to be that dude who was like the 40-year-old guy, still playing a high stakes game, still, a good player, whatever. I didn't want to be that guy. I wanted to be the guy at the other end of the table who was 55, who loved poker when he was young, left, came back, and now he just fucks around and hangs out,
Uh-huh.
has a couple of beers, watches the sports game, just slaps a bunch of money around and still beats up on these kids once in a while. Like that's the dream, right? The dream is like having fun and being good at this stuff, but not caring that much. That is the dream of these games.
Yeah. Yeah. You need
Right?
to be able to not lose your sanity in the process. Hey, don't screw the pooch, Matt. Come on.
Yeah. Dip my noodle in this poodle. I like that so much.
Like every team would have been good.
That's very good.
Hey, I mean, I'm not even in on Najee like that this year yet. Like my team, my Najee exposure is not out of control yet. And I think it's because
you like Jaylen Warren.
Yeah. It's because Jaylen Warren is way too good of a pick instead.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on D'Anthony McFarland before?
Brett Coleman tricked me into liking McFarland. Anthony McFarland.
Yes, Anthony, not D'Anthony.
Yeah, D'Anthony. If he was D'Anthony, he would be the best running back of all time. But he's just Anthony McFarland.
Damn straight.
I thought he had jets, but and when they gave him a little bit of run, I didn't think he was bad either. But it's maybe it was the weights. There's something behind the scenes, I guess, where like the teams are just like, hey, like just you kind of just have to like trust the teams and listen to them with the way that they use these guys. If a guy isn't getting run, like he's just, like chances are he's just not as good as we think is probably the most likely outcome. But like, and I think more and more people in our space are kind of coming around to that. Like, hey, like the coaches are not as dumb and they're not idiots. Maybe some aren't, but like we got to listen to like what these coaches are telling us in the way that in either in their direct words or in the way that they use these guys. Like they're just not as good as we think. Which kind of hurts. Yeah, because I still think Rojo's good.
Yeah, many are saying Anthony McFarland was better as Anthony because he shedded the D.
He shed the D.
He shed the D, buddy.
Oh, are you Sires totally sniped you with that Lenny pick, dude? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I turned the green button off. I turned it off. I am a Lenny apologist and a Kareem Hunt drafter in these late windows. That actually is one thing I wanted to talk about when you were saying we talked a little bit about it the other day, but I think it was at the end of the baseball pod for some reason. But where Leone has some data to back up the fact that like 0RB plays better later in draft windows. And I think that was kind of to the point where we were like, we're looking in that range and you were talking about zeros with running backs and how you didn't like any of the green in this range. I think the green in that range becomes better later. And I think I'm a pretty big proponent right now of like 2 early running backs within like your first 5 picks, because I think round 3 is undervalued right now. I think there's a lot of guys there that are slowly creeping their way up. Like round 3 Chubb was available, round 3 Henry's available, like depending which room you're in, right? But just getting ahead of the field on a little bit of that stuff, because those roster constructions aren't going to be there in the future. And then now when we go full, when we go full piss boy in the future, our certainty of those back end green guys is going to be better. I was thinking, I think Jelani Woods might be overkill on this team.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's your call. It's yours, but
I like Joshua Palmer. I might just do the Khalil Shakir thing though. Like just be like, all right, there's a Buffalo wide receiver. He gets it done. This is going to be a 2 tight end team, obviously, with taking Pitts early and spending that capital early. I was kind of hoping for the week 17 correlation of Michael Mayer coming back. The other one I was humming and hawing about was doing the Trey McBride stack with Kyler Murray, but I actually think I prefer taking Zach Ertz.
I do too, man.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know. I don't know why.
He stuck around this far. He was supposed to be dead 2 seasons ago.
Right. Yeah.
Still here.
Hashtag team follow the money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Team follow the money.
Still here. I want to look at
I forgot Robert Woods was on the Texans as well. Like Robert Woods, Mechie, they brought in Dalton Schultz. I mean, there's some weapons there.
Yeah, I'm gonna put in the private chat so you can bring up Leone's thread about like what you're talking about, because
Yeah, sure.
some good graphics to go along with that after you make your pick.
Mhm. Now, okay, we can do the Michael Gasecki and do a little run back off of the Shakur, which is like pretty thin. The Trey McBride second year breakout tight end that everybody liked last year with Kyler feels okay. I'm doing it though.
Oh God.
I'm
Okay.
scrolling the F
I thought
down.
you were gonna really really upset me for a moment here, and
No.
you'll see what I'm doing.
See what you're cooking? Okay.
I'm cooking. What
All
is he
right.
cooking is the question. Who's
We'll
to say?
see.
Matt raised a great point in the chat. Go
Yeah.
ahead and give this video a like if you like what you're watching. If you like what
Oh,
you're
thank
watching,
you.
retweet our tweet too. Let people know that we're streaming. We would appreciate all the support. Anything that you guys do to engage with us really helps with us. So we appreciate you guys hanging out with us on a Friday, watching us draft some dead teams in the Poodle, paying the rake for everybody,
Yeah.
doing the Lord's
Mooching the
work.
Poodle.
Fucking joking,
Dude, that's who I was gonna take the previous one, and I said his name too. I knew you were. We both like Palmer late. We both like Palmer.
Love Josh Palmer, man.
I like Palmer late, and I like Hodgson's late. I will definitely, and Taekwon. Those are kind of like the three guys my eyes are gravitating towards in this back range right now.
I can't take Trey McKitty now. God damn it. Way to go, C2 2007. I'm gonna find you.
This guy's living in the past.
I'm gonna find you, dude. I'm gonna shake your hand. Making a great pick.
Yeah. I'm gonna congratulate you. I'm gonna find you in the streets. I'm gonna take you out back, and I'm gonna congratulate you on that great move. Okay, numbers of live players. Yeah, I mean, like there you go. This is such a great chart. Just
look
speaking
at that
to
August chart. Look at that.
It's because we have so much information through camps of how the depth charts have changed, and through like the first like week or two of preseason where we see where guys are falling on depth charts. Right? It just makes way too much sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really good. I mean, we're gonna sing Leone's praises all the time. We're gonna sing Pats and Herzigs and all these guys who are doing such incredible research that we are not smart enough and or dedicated enough to do. But yeah, I don't know. There may be a little teaser there. Hey, little teaser next week. Might be some ETR stuff coming your way from the BadgeBros. Might be. Just a little teaser for those hanging out. I'm not sure if we're allowed to say, but maybe we're allowed to say.
I don't know. We'll see. It's not in the cards.
See.
The offer can still
irons
be
in
pulled.
the fire. Yeah. Irons in the fire.
Things can still be pulled. You never know. Maybe we're gonna upset some people. Yeah, Palmer wasn't great last year, I guess. I mean, 70 balls. That's caught 16 less balls than AJ Brown. I know they are completely different players, but 100 targets last year. 769 yards, 3 touchdowns, like tied to a healthier Justin Herbert. I don't know.
OC.
Quentin Johnson isn't like a slam dunk. There's a lot of holes in him as a prospect. I don't know. I think as a late round pick in this juncture, like I just think like he's one of my favorite late round picks. It's not like we're taking him in the 10th round for the love of God, but I'm not saying he's a slam dunk.
Yeah, you missed on 2 other ones there. The contingency value factor, and then the Kellen Moore allowing them to throw deep factor, and no Jalen Guyton. I mean, there we go. Perfect storm.
There we go. Thanks, John. John's got my back.
Professional wide receiver.
Yeah, let's I'm about to be on the clock again, and I'm about to
first tie
a bow on this masterpiece here.
Oh shoot. My the overlay is blocking out the bottom of this board. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, we're doing it.
Tim Patrick going in the last round there. I mean, Tim Patrick was at the basketball game sitting front row with Russell Wilson the other day. I didn't see Cortland Sutton sitting first row at the Nuggets game with Russell Wilson. I mean, just
you
saying.
do the math.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty easy 1v1.
No 8 RBs. Yeah. No 8 RBs. I led with Chubb. Didn't do 8, but we'll take a look after.
Yeah, we'll read them out in a second here. Do you want to do a quick hoops, or do you want to run another one of these today?
Let's go. Let's do a little hoops. Let's do a little
Okay.
hoops. I want to. I'm gonna. I got like 15 poodles left. I read some slows.
Okay, cool. Mike
You got to
Gesicki
rewind a
goes
little bit
there.
on Josh Kelly. Or oh, he wants to sell him on Josh Kelly. Sorry, I thought he said Josh
Sell
Palmer.
me this pen.
Josh Palmer got. I think is like the clear RB2. So it's contingency, and maybe Eckler isn't there. And I wanted a stack on this team with Justin Herbert. I think did I take Joshua Kelly? Yes, I did. Yeah, that's
There
all.
you go. Devontae Parker. Everyone forgetting about. You want to talk about professional wide receivers? You want to talk about boring as hell? You want to talk about a guy that we're going to be drafting on 2-game slates who's going to go 4 for 58 and 1?
I feel like he's not a zero.
He's not a zero. He is not a zero.
Yeah, they like with Taekwon, Juju, and then Paul or Parker, right? Like who am I forgetting? Oh yeah, like Keishon Butte, like who like nobody likes.
Yeah.
All
Hey,
right.
don't you dare.
No. All right.
Yeah,
I did something wacky. Oh, we're in poodles. We're in poodle territory.
Oh, right. First poodle. Poodle. All right, Nez, you start here. I will bring up your team here for the good people, for the audio listeners. Oh no,
I forgot to draft the second quarterback.
He done fucked up.
Oh no. Just kidding. This is what we do. 2 seasons ago, I had like an accidental single Kyler Murray advance sample size of 1. And last year, another sample size of 1. I had a single accidental Justin Fields advance by himself. Why can't a healthy Justin Herbert do that as well? Is the thesis here. So little Justin Herbert, Nick Chubb with a bunch of outcasts behind him.
That Palmer pick did sting a bit there.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was like extremely crucial. I have Allen and Quentin Johnston as well, along with Kelly for like just the stack of the offense. But was really counting on Palmer being a part of that team.
So a 1-7-7-3.
Who gets weirder than your boy?
I mean, that's fun. Let's see it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it from the top.
From the top, single Justin Herbert, apologies, paired with Nick Chubb, Javonte Williams, Rashad Penny, Elijah Mitchell, Devin Singletary, Tank Bigsby, and Joshua Kelly. For the wideouts, which I think are very strong, we got 2 grown-ass men at the top with A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf, paired with a frail shifty boy and Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson, another grown-ass man, Jamison Williams, frail shifty boy who loves to lay parlays, Marvin Mims, and Tyquan Thornton, shifty boy. And then with tight end, we went with 3 because I'm like scared about tight ends, like and not stacking them. And these are all 3 uncorrelated with Dallas Goedert, Cole Kmet, and then Noah Fant. Little pick there. So
yeah, I don't mind that.
I had fun. It's the friends you make along the way, man.
Yeah, that's a fun team. This is very interesting. Obviously, very unique construction with the 1 quarterback. But if you're going to bet on a quarterback archetype to be a 1 quarterback build, especially from a health standpoint, doesn't it feel like a big, solid quarterback who reliant primarily on his arm and not his legs, like Justin Herbert would be the archetype of player you would bet on?
Yeah, even he got hurt last year because he got hit really hard in the ribs. But otherwise, like you said, the archetype, I think it makes sense. And the other thing too is like not having to use 2nd-round draft capital to do this single QB team like you do with the top 3 QBs. Able to get Nick Chubb as like an alpha running back and pair 2 wide receiver 1s along with Keenan Allen as a stack partner with that. Like I think it's fine. You can do this with quarterbacks that go behind Justin Herbert too, if you have like the stones to do so. Calling everybody out. Who's got
better 8 running back teams and 1 quarterback teams than Nez does? You post that shit on the internet and we'll see. Someone do a cardio club with a 1 QB. Let's see it.
Let's go. I'll fund it. I'll fund it. Only one. Only one. If you're the first person to do a single quarterback underdog cardio club, I will fund it. And I will hold that to me.
I had a conversation last night with Chris. I mean, a conversation. It was like a couple messages or whatever. But just doing ourselves a disservice when spending high capital on tight end, like, you know, a top 80 pick, a top whatever, top one of those top 7 tight ends, to then go 3 tight ends is kind of like quote unquote bad. But when you alleviate the quarterback slot and you just apply it to the tight end, it makes sense. And you bring up a really good point about the most of the time these specific in Komet and Goddard are going to be tied to their quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
Almost at like, you know, we can estimate it with Chad's sheet and with the data we've pulled in terms of like combinatorial ownership, 32, 36 something percent. It's going to be a lot. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I think that's a good thesis in terms of like, if you don't get a premium tight end who is usually stacked with quarterback, to then mix in 3.
Yeah, just in case they go nuclear, especially when those guys are tied to running QBs who can also like put up insane weeks with their legs too. I think it's just nice to have insurance, like just because.
Got it. Yeah, no, I like that. It's hard to say that I went weirder than Nez, more unique than Nez. And it's hard to say that I went you know, dumber than a 1 quarterback team, but I might have gone dumber than a 1 quarterback team with this construction right here. We tried to do the 3 alpha running back approach, and then we picked 2 with the same bye week and caved and took 4 like the absolute coward that I am. And then we did the AR5 and went with the Richardson pick, and we ended up with 3 quarterbacks. So, I mean, this was not financial advice, not the smartest team in the world.
Why shoot the moon once if you can shoot the moon 3 times?
That's damn straight. That's the thesis here. 3, 4, 9, 2. Actually, in that vein, Mark brought up a really good point about 2 quarterback builds and what you're thinking through with like a stack. And he used the analogy of Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp, and I loved it because he's like, if we think Cooper Kupp ends this year, like he was using the if-then statements that we talked so much about during the daily contests and during the in-season stuff. Those if-then DFS statements where if this happens, then this happens. Well, if Cooper Kupp is the 101 wide receiver, well, then most likely Matthew Stafford is a top like 8 quarterback.
I was going to say, I bet he's QB 8.
Right? And we're getting him at pick 22. So to add a 3rd quarterback to a roster like that where you've stacked those 2 is just so dumb. And I mean, dumb. But like it's just it was a very interesting point to think through on these rosters, is like the if-then statements of like, what are we saying with this roster? And I think with a lot of the Anthony Richardson ones, it's like, what are we saying with this roster? Well, we're saying that he is rookie season, Robert Griffin III. He starts from the jump. He's a top, 5 or 8 quarterback for the entirety of the season. So why the hell do I lump on 3 with these profiles, right? Maybe just pairing him with like a safer back end pocket passer like Kirk Cousins makes way more sense than what I did. But yeah, I don't know, just interesting.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either, but it's probably from like a
the
theoretical
draft capital
standpoint,
is not high.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, getting Kyler and Trey Lance, you think of them as like 10th and 11th round picks. They are not that. Anyways, 3, 4, 9, 2, Anthony Richardson, Kyler Murray, Trey Lance. That sounds so nice on paper. CMC, Pollard, Henry, Khalil Herbert also sounds so nice on paper. And then when we pissed yellow, we forgot about bye weeks again there, because damn the bye week pros. And we went all the correlation in the world and stacked the shit out of a bunch of guys in week 11 here with Drake London, Michael Pittman, Michael Thomas, Jacoby Myers, Alec Pierce, Nico Collins, Rondale Moore, Khalil Shakur, Devontae.
Can you read me your active wideouts on week 11, por favor?
Active wideouts on week 11 would be Jacoby Myers, Nico Collins, Rondell Moore, and Khalil Shakur.
Cash.
And Kyle Pitts is my tight end for that week. So we really need Kyler to go nuke because we need Zach Ertz to get there on that week as well because Kyle Pitts is week 11 too.
Easy game.
Anyway, easy game. Holy shit. What a tragic roster. This is a tough scene.
Oopsie daisy.
Yo, what's up? What is up, Nick? All right, let's do what is going on here?
Are we EuroLeague guys now?
EuroLeague.
I just looked.
That
was a crazy game. Monaco was up 41 to 39 or 41 to 29 at halftime. Monaco was. Get this. In the third quarter, they scored 2 points. Olympiacos scored 27 points. And then they outscore him in the fourth by 1 to take the game. What an insane game is right. I don't know.
That reminds
I don't know how
me,
to read your name, but that is an insane sport game.
That reminds me of the Heat last game, like going to the break down a little bit and then they just come out and drop like 46 in the third quarter and take that game over.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Great transition.
Yeah. Yeah, great transition to when EuroLeague best ball on UD. That is what the fuck is your?
I'm about to watch the game recap. That looks insane.
That does look insane. I think this one's a pretty. I was gonna say put it in the chat and let the people vote, but I think this one's gonna be unanimous that Nez won this draft.
Evergreen statement.
Nez won this draft, and he only took one quarterback.
How easy is too easy?
Oh my goodness. I laughed at a comment from Crutches in our Discord this morning that time is an infinite loop and we are just drafting the same slate over and over and over again. And it kind of feels like that. It very much feels like that when you're just doing the 2 games back and forth and back and forth. But lots of moving pieces and lots of changing things in the hoop streets. Incredible that Joker last night did not score a point in the fourth quarter and still had 65 fantasy points. Jamal Murray took that game over late and ended up, I think he had 18 fourth quarter points, something like that.
Oh my God.
Couple closing garbage free throws that just kind of tacked it on, but such is the nature of the game. Ended up with 60 something points. The trend of Anthony Davis and LeBron carried on. AD night, LeBron night, AD night, LeBron night, and AD just turned it off last game. And I guess first game back at home, given the sample size of the postseason, that it's going to be AD night. I'm not. Yeah,
I don't know. To me, it's like my rankings are almost the same like every night.
Right. Yeah. I think there's definitely some decisions to be made each night between kind of like, I think Jokic is just, solidified number 1. I think most of us are kind of leaning toward Anthony Davis as the second one off the board. And then it kind of becomes like a debate between, those names between Tatum, LeBron, Jimmy, and Jamal.
He's putting himself in that conversation.
I think so too. Shout out to Andy, who's always doing well in these NBA streets and stuff, and talking about randomization of these for combos and blah, blah, blah. It's kind of the stuff you have to be thinking through if you're 150 maxing this stuff. But just thinking through the fact that, hey man, like Jamal's projection is a lot closer to LeBron than it is to Jaylen Brown and Bam right now.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that, one of the other guys can't go off. But this is kind of just generally what will happen on the start of every draft is these first 8 players go. If you're fortunate enough to get some combination of 3 of these, well, you're really in the catbird seat in that situation. But where the slate gets fun is kind of like, what do we do with Aaron Gordon, D'Angelo Russell? We've seen the minutes all over the place and the usage all over the place for both. Is Marcus Smart and Austin Reeves a tier above these guys? What do we do with Brogdon and Derek White? Do you think they could go back to the smaller lineup? These projections from Underdog have Time Lord absolutely buried down here at 12.7. Is this any indication that they think the starting lineup goes small again tonight and we go back to something that we saw early in the previous series. I don't know. What's your lean here, Nez?
Gosh, man. I don't really have anything like too strong on like where I think things will go.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I don't buy that like Robert Williams is not going to be a part of the game plan, because I thought he gave them a lot of good minutes when he was on the floor.
Yeah.
And I don't know that changes. And because of that, like Robert Williams can have like a 4 block night and like vault himself into like, like the third, like a third round optimal type of score that you can get now in like the
In
last
the
round.
six.
So
Yeah.
I don't do these in mass anymore. Like I'll do a couple to pay to see the leaderboard, but Robert Williams would be like my favorite like last round pick right now. And the fact that you can get him like with Joker teams
Mm-hmm.
is pretty nice. Because I don't think like he's definitely in the last round, right? With
He
being that
wasn't.
buried.
He wasn't. And then the
Yeah.
projection update happened, and now he's a 12.7, and now he's in the last round. When you get certain lobbies and certain casuals drafting, I'm going to update the stochastic projections right now just to see if they happen to be thinking anything similar, because when they had it, he was projected like mean projection in that 23, 24 point range, which would put him up with like, I was taking him, above Max Struess. I was taking him not above Bruce Brown, but maybe right beside Kyle
Well,
Lowry, the
I have
scoring.
Roto Grinders, and
Yep.
they've got him above Al Horford.
Wow. Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, yeah. Stochastic has Horford above by like fractions of a point, like a point and a half, something like that. That's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. He didn't close last game. It was Horford closing. But he was heavily involved in the rotation at every interval. It might just be the Time Lord's slate, because when you're talking about some of these back end options of like like Dennis Schroeder was so hard to watch last night. Like they put him out there for defensive purposes, obviously, and they put him out to run over D'Lo for the last rotation of like that last 4 minutes, when it was basically LeBron screen and roll, get us back in this game time. And it was like, we don't even care who the spot up shooter in the corner is. We just prefer to have his defense on the floor.
Yeah.
But man, he is tough to watch on the offensive end. Like it's just, yeah. But the decision point of the slate in my mind is deciding between the Miami guys. Again, it feels evergreen. Basically, all of them scored 15 points last game. Kevin Love not included, kind of at the bottom of this list, but all three of them scored 15 points exactly last game. And then deciding, do the Lakers go to Rui in the starting lineup? Because Rui's efficiency has been insane. He has been phenomenal, looking every bit of the lotto pick that he once was.
Did he miss a shot?
He eventually missed a layup.
Okay.
He missed, I think it was a layup or like a mid-range floater. He missed one of those, but man, like just help side defense, having the size on the floor, being able to switch off. It's gonna be very interesting there. And then one other question I had for you, is, okay, do we get Derek White in the starting lineup over Time Lord? Do we get Rui in the starting lineup over the Schroeder or Vanderbilt? I always say Schroeder or Schroeder. I always botch that, and I listen so intently every game, and I still screw it up every time. Those would be two big decision points for me in how we value. They would affect how we value D'Angelo Russell, I guess, and how we would evaluate Schroeder. And then the other one would be, who guards Tatum tonight, because Bam and Jimmy Butler were both kind of like lobbying for that duty. They both were like, yo, I want to be that guy and take that role on. And it turned out to be Butler doing the majority of it. And
that's what I would think.
Yeah, it's just a very tough assignment, because if you're playing both ends of the floor like that, like all I think is Jimmy Butler meme of him from the bubble leaning over the railing, right? Like just,
dude, he's superhuman. He's superhuman.
He is. Yeah, I think those are kind of like the major decision points of the slate, would be deciding between the Heats. Does Rui start? Does Derek White start? What to do with Butler versus the other top end guys?
Yeah,
What do you think in any
it's
of those directions?
I think if you're looking at Vegas, they have the Celtics as 9-point favorites. And if the
Wow.
Celtics are going to cover, then I don't know that like Jimmy, I think we can see like a 39 fantasy point night from Jimmy if that like comes to fruition. If
Right.
we get a blowout, which which they're kind of like leaning towards,
Mhm.
um you might not want like any part of this game because like if everybody's leaving the floor so
Yeah.
early, none of these guys are going to be what you need. I don't know that galaxy braining is that smart. Like I wouldn't do that. But um, I with that being said, I think Vegas is dead wrong, and
Mhm.
I think they are just like how many times are we going to do this with Jimmy? Like in
Right.
the heat, how many times are
Yeah.
we just going to assume that like very like
They're just
Jimmy is
assuming
here?
that they're going to punt, that they've already stolen one. They've already stolen home court. They're just going to punt game two, get out of there healthy, and move on with the series.
Yeah, and it's like, and not only that, it's like it's Spoelstra as well. It's
Right.
Spoelstra versus Ime. Is that the coach?
Yeah, I don't remember his
Yeah,
name.
like
The guy who
Spoelstra
replaced
is
the other
coaching
guy.
circles around him. I don't understand. Like I just do not think that's how this game is going to play out. So me personally, I would maybe if I'm not maxing, like
Mhm.
I'm gonna leverage Jimmy Butler, and
Mhm.
I'm not, and I think that spread is wrong, and I want Jimmy like after Jokic like every time.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay. So second pick.
Let's get
And then
crazy.
you flip the board as well, right? You flip the
That's part of
board.
it.
Yeah, the coach's name's Joe
Oh,
Mazzulla.
oh,
Yeah,
sorry, yeah, Mazzola. Thanks,
yeah.
thanks, Chip.
Oh, he put it in there. My memory
After you
was
said it, like
moving
right
slow.
after you
There you
said
go.
it.
All right, there you go. Yeah, I think I don't have incredibly strong leans on the upper echelon there. I am taking some stances. I am taking some stances on moving Aaron Gordon the fuck down, moving Bruce Brown up. I do think that that is very real, what we are seeing there. They were showing some of the spacing on the floor last night, and Aaron Gordon does nothing for this team on the offensive end.
No
He
gravity whatsoever.
it doesn't pull anyone out of the paint. It doesn't do anything for them. And I realized that Bruce Brown played more because KCP was in foul trouble like really early, and then I think he had a little bit of foul trouble too. Like he had two fouls uh, relatively early as well. But I do think that I would rather go Denver goes a bit smaller going forward than Aaron Gordon. I still think Aaron Gordon starts, and I just think that the bench side becomes more of like a plays in the rotation, but just off of the bench, if that makes
Hmm.
sense, opposed to
Hmm.
them being a bench unit. I think he's a really good asset as the backup five. Like I
Yeah.
think he's a really good asset like that, playing backup 5 minutes against like Rui or against Vanderbilt. Like he could definitely get home in those minutes, but I think those are going to be sparing, man. Those are going to be sparing unless Joke's in foul trouble, and Joke is basically never in foul trouble. So yeah, I'm taking a stand on moving Aaron Gordon down. D'Angelo Russell, I'm hedging a little bit. I had a lot of him at the start, and now I'm kind of moving him down. I would prefer to have Austin Reeves. I think the minutes are just so much safer in terms of like minutes to project for the Lakers. I think it's just like 80 and Braun, and then Austin Reeves is the third safest.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm surprised it kind of took this long. I thought because Reeves it wasn't always like this obvious, right?
right. Yeah.
Matchup dependent, but like, yeah, like Reeves, like they trust Reeves so much, and
Hmm.
and he does, and he's been like that good.
Yeah.
And I think
Lakers
I
were
don't, yeah, go ahead.
Lakers were bad from three last game too, and one of the ones that Reeves hit was like this gross ass bank in three or whatever. It was like if they get home and they find some shooting in the corners, like Reeves and Rui have been the guys that have been, they're gonna coin them as role players. I think they're like Dink threw out a tweet last night that they're 31 for like 45 or something between the two of them. Like they've been super efficient and super good. And it's like, hey, role players step up at home. It's like, man, role players have been carrying this fucking team. like,
Yeah, matter of fact, yeah, like when do we change the narrative just slightly, you know?
yeah,
So yeah, but like after that top eight, man, it's definitely wide open. Like if you want to like
yeah,
give us a peek, like for me, the top eight, like for me after the top eight, I think you kind of mentioned it, like it's Reeves. After
Yeah, okay.
Reeves is my number 9.
Reeves over Smart.
For me, yes.
Okay.
And then Smart. Just
Okay.
because you get Reeves at home next game.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like that. I mean, I really like Marcus Smart just like in general. I think this series is pretty good for him too because like they're going to keep a lot of guards on the floor and anytime Gabe Vincent's on the floor like just leave the easy assignment on the offensive end like Vincent versus him and then on the defensive end, you know, he can play wherever he wants, right? Because like Smart's like a really good defender. Um yeah, I
Where
don't
are
know.
you putting Kyle Lowry? So I have him 13th on out of my players, like right behind Porter and ahead of guys like Brogdon, Gordon, Russell, and Bruce Brown. Do you think that's too aggressive?
Slightly,
Yeah.
but like I don't think it's crazy. I think if you ran like 10, 15 drafts like that, it's an entirely viable stance. I think it might be a little high for me if I was just like ranking them as I like them for the slate.
Yeah.
I think I prefer D'Angelo Russell to him. I prefer you said Porter was ahead.
I had
Then you
Porter one
said
spot ahead. So I would rank it after the top 8: Reeves, Smart, Horford, Porter, Lowry, and then Russell.
I think I like Russell and Brogdon more.
Okay.
Yeah. Brogdon's interesting because like Brogdon's role doesn't change with whoever starts, right? You see a big
Yeah.
value shift if you see a big value shift in Derek White if Derek White starts, right? Um, yeah. And Brogdon is the 6 man up no matter what, and he's going to be like the scoring off the bench that becomes the second and or third option pending who he's on the floor with, right? But usually he comes in for that second rotation, and usually it's over Jaylen Brown.
Hmm.
Not always, but like at some capacity. Um, yeah, so we get kind of like the standard start here where I think it's bad to pass on Bam here. I think you're getting too cute if you pass on Bam here.
Yeah.
But then after this, man, it's wide open. Like you could twist my arm into to any pick. I know you said Reeves. Let's just go ahead and thrust Reeves up
He
and
would
take
be
him here.
mine. Yeah,
Okay.
he's my 9th guy off the board.
Yep.
I don't know. It depends on like what you're looking for. Like I guess as far as like ceilings go, um, Porter I think has like a pretty high ceiling. We haven't seen it yet, but like a Michael Porter 30-point game, like Michael Porter could be what we saw Jamal Murray take over. You know, like when he
Mhm.
gets hot, like he is not only going to chuck, but you know he has the ability to just bury.
Yeah,
Um,
if you want to talk about ceiling games in this like tier, right? Because effectively we're trying to win a 2 game contest with 8,000 people. We should be chasing ceiling,
yeah.
right? Chip brings up a good point in the chat there that like give him the Kyle Lowry ceiling chase,
Well, he
you
doesn't just
know?
say Kyle Lowry.
Oh, what did he say? The
Well,
big
The
dumper?
Kyle Lowry, Kyle Raleigh, Kyle Raleigh.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
The
Yeah.
big dumpy baby. Yeah.
Fat Kyle. Um Uh, yeah. Now this becomes another conversation here. I don't think Derek White starts necessarily. I do want to be prepared for it, but there is a lot of like 6 and last round Derek White teams based on how the projections were
That's where I
before.
would take him. That's it.
Yeah, I think I like Horford and Bruce Brown here.
Hmm.
I think KCP is getting a little underrepresented just because he had foul trouble and the minutes were down last
Yeah.
game, and everybody's kind of playing, catch up to that. Like he lost 10 minutes, right? Like that's a big deal,
He's been like a 40-minute guy up until
right?
then. I don't
Yeah.
know, man. This seems like I like Brown. I think like
Mhm.
what you said offensively, I think Brown offers a little bit more offensively than KCP, but and they're likely playing from behind next game.
Mhm.
We got the Lakers per Vegas like 5-point favorites, so points are probably going to be needed, but regardless, I think this is a very nice spot. I think people are just waiting for a reason to think KCP is invaluable.
Mhm.
And hey, there's Andy taking Time Lord over
Yeah.
KCP.
There you go.
That seems pretty
Yeah.
that seems pretty aggressive.
Yeah, still taking Time Lord in the 5th round at 18 there. We know Andy's auto drafting right now and just set his ranks that way. So he views Time Lord as still starting. He views Time Lord as undervalued, and he's not willing to risk Time Lord wrapping back around like this. He just wants to go ahead and get his guy there. See KCP falling like this. Um, Pretty wild. I mean, yeah, people are really soured.
Yeah,
And maybe unjustly so. We see Rui still sitting here. Who
that's
just
kind of
went there?
nuts, man.
Caleb Martin just went. Yeah, this board has really been flipped on its head in the last couple hours between when I was doing them before. Gabe Vincent, Rui, or KCP?
I mean, geez, dude, this is an embarrassment of riches here in the final pick.
It actually is. Yeah, it does feel that way, doesn't it?
Man, you kind of, I don't know, KCP or Rui, man, you really, I mean,
Okay.
like you said, dude, Rui's looking solid. I
Let's
think
go.
KCP for the floor of a 6-round pick, right?
Yeah, I think KCP for a 6th round pick because I don't think KCP is going to make it back to the 6th round all that often. I think Rui is going to have a lot of 6th round value, maybe not falling all the way to get back to be paired with Joker, but yeah, I mean I haven't seen a ton of KCP falling this far, so just very interesting to look at this board and how the ebbs and flows of this contest is going. Um, I think the optimal lineup as we go later without getting like, hey, this is going to be so insane and unobtainable. I think the optimal lineup will be doing something that passes on like they get a draft where they pass on D'Angelo and Gordon, and then someone at the other side of the board kind of catches those falling knives and they end up with a more unique combination because those guys went on the other side of the board. Maybe that is resulted from Kyle Lowry. Maybe that's resulted from 4th round Michael Porter, because Michael Porter is probably my 11th player off the board right now. I really like Michael Porter. He's really
Yeah.
come alive in the playoffs, and he's a guy who can fill it up from 3 and just, man, he gets boards too. Like he's nice. He's just nice. That's all you gotta say.
Yeah, clueless defensively, but a
Yeah.
really skilled offensive player, and does and is still. I mean, forget the plus minus. He is a net positive for that Nuggets team. They need him offensively.
Yeah, and for anyone who can't see just how the run out went, the overlays blocking the last round. Derek White at 20, Kev Love at 21, Dennis Schroeder are always screwing it up at 22, Caleb Martin at 23, and then 24th we got KCP. Nez, what say you to just rip one last one and call it a day?
Yeah, let's get one more on there. That was a nice little 6th-round KCP there. It gets me excited. I might have to dip the old
Gives you
toesies
the
back
itch?
in.
Gives you
Just
the itch?
maybe just one. Okay, maybe we'll do 5. All right, let's
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, what's 10?
Oh, okay. Oh, so this is fun, man. Two no badges at the turns. So,
Yeah, it's
liable to follow projections or do something a little crazy.
Yeah, which makes me want to take AD at 2, presuming that Joker goes at 1. When I see 2 non-badge players behind me and I'm manually drafting, I do like to kind of push it and see, hey, maybe we could get a little Butler fall,
Yeah.
where the person at the end goes, hey, like, yeah, Butler and Jalen, that's kind of close. Let's do a Tatum and Jalen,
Mhm.
like something like that.
Yeah. You never
And
know.
it also kind of opens the door for like the Jamal Murray being projected behind both Jalen and Bam, despite me liking him more than both of those. Having the two, we don't know if they're recreational players, but the 2 non-badge players behind, making some assumptions there that Jamal more likely to fall back to us as well.
The
So
odds are certainly higher.
yeah, forever in our favor, right?
Yeah. You never. Maybe this guy's even going to do something crazy. Maybe he thinks it's a Lakers night.
Yeah, maybe he wants to flip the
Badge boy.
board.
Yeah.
Yeah, flip the build.
You won't. Don't be
You
scared.
won't, dude. Oh man.
Yeah. I think AD. Yeah.
Yeah, I like 80. I mean, even in we clown about it being an 80 down night and a down game,
It's
the
50
last
50
2 out of those
fantasy
last
points.
3, and it's still 50-point floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Strange ending to that game though. Lakers were like in control all game, and then it just kind of like falls apart because Jamal Murray on
Yeah,
absolute
it just
fire.
goes nuke. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think what they ended up doing was they ended up running that high side screen and roll, right? Like they did exactly what you and I talked about the previous one, where it's like you pull AD out of the paint with Joker, you run that high side screen and roll, and the way that Lakers were exploiting Jamal on the defensive end, they just used it against them on the other side. Well, Mr. Chan's got some projections going here of his own
Yeah.
and makes two good picks in the Butler Murray. So the thesis did not pay off. Do you like Bam or Jaylen Brown here?
I typically go Bam, but if you
Okay.
want to do a Jalen
Sure.
team,
No, I typically go Jaylen, so let's take
okay.
Bam here.
Yeah, I like the way Bam's been playing. He looks similar to old Bam again. So
Yeah,
I
it
hope
does
it
feel.
continues.
Uh, One Bam thesis that could be tied to the Time Lord thing is if Time Lord goes back to the bench, I'm boosting Bam's projection. You know,
Yeah.
because we saw the start of last game when Time Lord started. I think the first 8 points, or maybe the first 6 points, were Time Lord, and three of them, or the first three buckets were Time Lord, and all three of them came off offensive boards where he just he gets up there, right? And
Hmm.
he's their best bet for winning the glass versus Bam, and we know Bam hasn't been as crazy or as good a rebounder as he has been in the past in recent memory. Yeah, there you go. Following suit with your ideology, taking Austin Reeves there. I think I like Marcus Smart. Like, I think Marcus Smart is low key a tier break for me.
Okay.
He gets the minutes that you're looking for from KCP. Marcus Smart always gets,
Yep.
and if he can just run hot with a couple stocks, we know he's a great passer, and he probably has like a 10 point, maybe not 10 point floor, but like 8 point floor. Where if he can knock down a couple threes, kick out threes, and then have like 8 or 9 assists, he's going to return value the majority of the time from this pick. I think
Yeah.
he feels safe.
Yeah. He'll help get you in the green for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Carlos talking about LeBron's fourth quarter in the comments. Yeah, a definite
Yeah,
breakdown there. It's kind of like multiple games in a row now where we've seen LeBron like think he's Steph and try to take these threes, and it just like I don't know if
yeah.
his legs are gone at that point in the game, like you just tired. But
They
yeah,
did look tired. They did look tired late there. One other thing there is Anthony Davis hadn't shot a three. Obviously, not his game. Hadn't shot a three all game, and then he shoots three in the last like 2.5 minutes.
made
And
one,
it's
but
yeah,
in
he
the
made one
corner.
of them. Yeah, but it was just kind of like,
This draft is
uh,
sharp.
yeah, this is a good draft. I shoot the moon with the Lowry pick here.
I think so. Playoff
Um,
experience, big dumpy.
Big dumps. uh,
Now this is where the draft begins.
Yeah, we said like
Keep
5
saying it
times
every
now.
time.
Yeah,
Now the draft begins. This is what I mean. It kind of does. It kind of
yeah,
does. This is I have like no problems with any of these picks that have taken place there, except Porter. I think maybe for candles, and maybe I would have done Horford and Porter. I really
yeah.
like
Instead of the
Horford on any given slate.
three Boston guys like that. Well, there you go. You get KCP moving up to fourth, and we just got closing line value on him in the sixth. There,
Holy crap!
Rui goes right beside. I feel like this is like the we have to take Aaron Gordon, or we take Time Lord. Who do you prefer? Or Bruce Brown?
I think maybe Bruce.
Okay. Yeah,
Gosh,
I
I hope
actually
this
didn't
isn't.
even. I didn't see that Bruce Brown was there. To be honest, I would have taken Bruce over those previously mentioned guys, especially when we have the ability to potentially get Time Lord to wrap back around.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. It's with these guys. I think this is something that they're liable to do. I know they've been pretty sharp so far, but I do wonder if they're what their rankings are like. Yeah. See, okay. He goes Caleb Martin looking at the game logs, probably,
and this guy's just going to grab the two top projected guy, although he does have four Boston pieces or three Boston pieces already. So
Yeah.
you know
I think Aaron
maybe
Gordon
he's.
is one of them. Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's very interesting because where do you draw the line in the sand with he goes Gabe Vincent there. Where we're gonna get Gordon and or Time Lord, and I think it's a decision, right? Like
Wow.
it's weird, right?
Ugh. That's tough.
But then that being said, I think just for uniqueness sake, if Gordon falls to us here, you just take Gordon, right?
Yeah, you're
Like
gonna
you just take
draft more. I think
uh-huh.
Gordon is gonna be way more rare if he is not the pick. And it could
Like
be
Chan's having
okay.
he's having that internal debate right now where he's like, man, nobody wants to take
So,
this guy,
yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah, so now it's like Time
Um,
Lord or Struce, and I think that's a debate, but I think Time Lord has a higher ceiling.
yeah, I think if they run the same starting lineup again, I think Time Lord's the guy.
Yeah.
Uh, there have been smart arguments. Dink said something to the effect of like they know what this lineup looks like with him. They know what he can bring to the table. Maybe they save him a little bit, like until it's like must win territory. But you want to talk about must win territory? They just ripped home court from your ass.
Yeah.
So maybe we go ahead and just run our best lineup out there, and that in recent memory has been Time Lord at the 5, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it'll be interesting. I think maybe Caleb Martin comes off the bench and plays against Horford, and then Time Lord stays out against Bam. I don't know. That's kind of what I am envisioning.
Where are you at on those, like on the Martin, Vincent, Struce rankings? If you had to rank them before we conclude,
Martin, Vincent, Struce. I will always chase the Mart. I mean, it's the same bet, but I like the Vincent chasing the Vincent threes ceiling.
okay,
It's what I like, but I think it's roster construction dependent, right? Because if I have Kyle Lowry, I don't want Gabe Vincent,
right?
right? But if I have Kyle Lowry, I'd really like to take like a guy like Caleb Martin, where I know he's coming in for like a little bit more size or whatever than like Vincent. Yeah, I think that's kind of where my head goes. Is it's roster construction dependent. If I had to just pick one, it's most likely going to be Vincent. Although he does the least for you in the stocks department, he's just kind of like a bet on volume, fill it up scoring. Yeah, Stochastic will tell you Struce, then Vincent, then Martin, but we're talking fractions of points between them. They're basically all the same bet. I think my biggest stand will be like I just don't touch Kevin Love. Kevin Love is 15 minutes, first rotation, second rotation, out, or maybe first rotation starts the second half, one rotation, gone. I'm not a Kev Love. He could do something, but yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I'll miss out if he does.
UD finally took Jimmy's steel prop off the board. It was at 1.5, and he plays it every time. That's a pretty sharp one.
Dang,
from
I wasn't
Carlos
on that.
There. Yeah, wish we were
throw the boys a bone, man.
Yeah, man, put that one in the chat one time, buddy. Fun show, Ness. Our first Poodle is now in the book. I think you decisively won that draft, but we both went a little rogue and had a little fun. So, friends we made, right?
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, we were living out there. Is Monday a holiday?
Yeah, next Monday I believe is
next Monday's
Memorial
a holiday.
Day. Yeah,
I think this Monday might be a holiday here.
Okay.
It might be like our May long weekends off by one, but that wouldn't make much sense. Yeah, we're balling, baby. Yeah, this is all right. Anyways, we'll most likely be back here maybe Monday ? We'll figure that one out. But at the very least, we will be back on Tuesday to do a little baseball on the Underdog HQ channel. If you're not subscribed to that one, hit the link below. If you are not playing on Underdog Fantasy, man, come on, what are you even doing here? Just use that promo code MLB or use that promo code BadgeBros. Either way, we're gonna give you a free $100 if you just put in $100. So, I mean, it's free money.
From my pocket to yours.
Yeah, literally from Nez's pocket to
yours. I get a bill every month.
We just watched him draft. Too good. All right, buddy. Any parting words here? Here we go. Big day. Got the UD badge. Yo, badge is up. Badge is up. Show him, baby. Show him at the camera on the way. You got to show him to get in the club. All right, man.
Yeah. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Yeah, fun show. Good weekend. Best of luck to everybody playing these 2-game NBA slates. Hopefully you can get your 20 in the Poodle before she closes up there. And as Carlos said, do us a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe on your way out the door. It does wonders for us. I don't know, even leave a comment. I don't know. Pete's doing something with the comments now. I got to learn this YouTube game because apparently the algorithms, man, we need the algorithm to be on our side.
Yeah, I dare you to leave a comment. I triple dog dare you.
I dare you to see what happens. All right. On behalf of myself, Nez, and Neumy, who is unfortunately not able to join us today, we are the Badge Bros, everybody's favorite time of the show. The end. Peace.